It'll take more than a semester course in scriptures to comment on that. I'll move to the first reading. Because there's a dynamic about, well, first of all, the first reading. It's interesting that God can be moved and his mind be changed, right? Of course, that's a human understanding of who God is. So we try to speak of God the way we know how. But it's just interesting that because Moses pleaded with him, God changed his mind. We can change God's mind. Wow, what a concept, huh? Be that as it may. But there's an interesting dynamic here in this conversation that also we heard it last Sunday, and some preachers talk about it, of the prodigal son, and how when the older brother came, remember the conversation with him, look, I've done this, done that, and you have not given me anything. And then he says, when this son of yours who wasted your money on whatever, when this son of yours, and remember the father's response? Well, we have to celebrate because this brother of yours, it happened here too, The Lord said to Moses, go down at once to your people, because he's been disappointed with them. And Moses replied, but Moses implored with the Lord, why, O Lord, should your wrath blaze up against your own people? Okay. This matter of people distancing themselves from the situation. Sometimes it happens even in our time. Parents who say, "Would you talk to your daughter?" Wait, isn't she your daughter too? Because if we can distance ourselves, we feel kind of it's not my responsibility, or however it is that I think, or however it is that this person thinks, it's very different, and therefore, I feel justified to say what I want to say about them because they are not really that close to me. There's a lot of distancing that's happening in our time. It's happening in politics, unfortunately. Certain people want to distance themselves from certain other people. They don't want to be associated with that kind of platform, that kind of thinking, that kind of an attitude. What about us? Who are people that are from whom we've distanced ourselves lately, or maybe for some time now, even? Perhaps not because we don't want to be associated with them, but because something has happened between us. There's a gap now. It's 10 days before Holy Week. We can make a project of closing that gap, perhaps, or at least kind of, I don't know, making it a little shorter than it has been. And maybe there's a part of us that said, well, why should I make the first step? They hurt me. Actually, making the first step makes us very much like God. It's your mercy, where mercy is that action of God that says He reaches out to us even though we don't deserve it, whether because we're sinners or just we're mere creatures. So for us to take the first step in closing a gap actually makes us be more like children of God. And it is the call to live as children of God. So, as Holy Week and Easter approaches, are there some gaps in our relationships that we need to kind of close? From whom are we distancing ourselves, or we've allowed distance to happen between us? And might reconciliation be at the heart of our living out the mysteries that we are about to celebrate in Holy Week?